you said earlier was something about, hey, if it were a Beatles song, I would be no more fit to kind of dive into the lyrics and describe them. So does that mean that you have a sense that the words that you put down on paper into a song come through you in some manner, and you don't own them? Because I think that is the word you used, was you don't own them per se. I'm sorry if I'm misquoting you earlier.
No.
But how do you perceive it? The words that are under the guise of Me Without You, and written by AARON Weiss.
Well, it's not a coming through like some kind of a trance, or I sort of go to sleep and with a pen in my hand, and I wake up and there's there's a song. There's a lot of like chiseling and replacing and thesaurus checking and rhyming dictionary looking up. It's definitely a labor.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, there's a sense of like, once the word comes or once you find it, then it's like, oh yeah, that's what it has to be, and I couldn't choose otherwise.
Okay.
Or if not that, even if I did write it,
mm-hmm.
Afterward, you just let go of it. Just say, well, to heck with that. That was a moment of my life, or that was a month of my life. That needed to be said, but today there's something new. So I'm not who wrote it then. I'm not the same.
Right.
AARON.
Yeah.
There's a totally different. If we'd like, we can kind of become new every moment, or at least every day. Say like, all right, to heck with everything I have ever said. If it's been false, to heck with it. To hell with it. If it's been false, then I renounce it. That wasn't true,
mm-hmm.
or that was only that was a limited understanding. So what's next? What's deeper, or what's a fuller understanding of reality than what I thought I understood 8 years ago, or 6 years ago, or 4, or whenever our records have come out.
Right.
Because you look back and you're like, this kid is a lunatic. Whoever wrote this stuff.
Right.
And if that's me, it's like, shucks, I guess I'm a lunatic. But you want to at least be letting go of your craziness and say, yeah, I really thought I had it figured out then. But I was really, limiting this, kind of like you said about, I was putting everything in this really small compartment that called my mind,
and
it no longer fits there,
I want to keep talking, and I want to ask you about songs, so I'm going to ask you to bullcrap some song answers. You ready?
Yes.
All right, we're all set to bullcrap, and I'll tell you what these words kind of came to and through me, and then I'll kind of go from there. But like the fox, the crow, and the cookie.
Yeah.
I think that it's something about everybody wanting stuff, and I think people like to be cunning, and I think they like to be stroked, and then all of a sudden they're taken advantage of and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I think the last words in the song that you have, when letting all attachments go is the only prayer we know. May it be so, may it be so. Amen. I'm getting to I've described myself as becoming more of a minimalist. I don't think I'm a minimalist, but I do know that I don't want to buy anything else the rest of my life. I don't think. Until I see something really cool, and I got to have that hat. But right now, in my closet, I can tell you right now, from all the free hats I've gotten and the ones I've purchased, I probably have 20 hats. I could never wear those out if I wore them every minute of every day the rest of my life. So that's my sense of that song is how we are, how stuff gets in the way of our life. Is that a good sense of that song, or?
That one was taken from a story that my mom used to read to me, that was told by Baba Muhyiddin, who was our family's teacher, like a spiritual father.
Okay.
And the way the way it was told, the story was primarily a warning against flattery, and the desire for praise from others, and any other. Anything else you might draw from it. About letting go of our attachment to material things. That sounds like a good takeaway, but that wasn't intended.
But I do think there's times when I buy the new hat because I want flattery. You know, I mean, in fact, I think I do that every time I buy something. I shouldn't say every time, but there is a function and form thing. But yeah, the crow, the fox, he wants what he wants, and he's figured out a way to be conniving and get it. And the crow just likes that flattery, and then loses what it needed for sustenance, right?
Well, that sounds right.
Yeah. Angel of Death came to David's room. I guess I thought, as great as somebody can be, whether it's King David or Michael Jordan, to put both those in the same sentence, we've all got an end coming, and it's all pretty much the same. Yours, mine, whoever's. Someday, you know, that, as you put it, the angel of death is going to come to our room and knock, and we don't want him to knock. You know, is that a realization we all need to understand? Is that we are very much the same at the end of the day when it comes to a limited time on this earth?
I don't know if we need to come to that realization. That realization is going to come to us, you know. So we might not think about it.
That's interesting, yeah.
And then but we are going to die. So maybe some of us can't help but think about it, you know.
Well, we are kind of obsessed with death a little bit, I think, even if we don't talk about it. I think this country, I should say, and I say that through a hospice thing. That both my parents went through. And I was talking with the hospice people, and for the most part, very kind, gentle people. But she said the families that can kind of deal with the death thing are the ones who talk about it. And the ones who didn't talk about it during their life, it tears them up inside, you know. And so my sense is that we all are sort of obsessed by it, even if we talk about it, and even if we don't. And I think you've said something that is connecting with me to the point of the realization is going to come to us rather than we have to come to it. You know. He shakes his head yes with an affirmative. Yes, I'll say that during your silence of my. And he smiles a little bit too. Okay. The King Beale on a Coconut Estate. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a beautiful story about trying to understand using the G word, God, but one who wants somebody to try to explain it when really I think he shows people how to live it. If I can put it in quotes and then live it in quotes the second time. Because there is that mystery that's out there that I want to send you to go find, or you want to send me to go find. I can come back with the answers, whether it's a scientific answer or whether it's a physical answer. And there really is no answer, especially based on a lot of what we've talked about, right? But yet somebody has to say, or show maybe, how that unconditional love could work.
Well, that one my dad told me, and that he heard from Baal Muhayyideen. So it sounded like you have a good understanding of it. I wouldn't say there is no answer, but yeah, it may be. We can't just come and tell people it. You know, it's something you need to. We all need to experience or to.
Yeah, I love the words "holds without hands" and "he speaks without sounds." And I sometimes I think when people throw spiritual stuff around it, it can be kind of empty, but sometimes it can be kind of embracing too. And I don't know if that's just the place where we are at as in that moment, that because there is times when I think there is nothing else out there, and I don't know why I'm here. And other times when it seems like it all makes sense.
Yeah.
So thanks for those words for me, or from me, I guess is more it. Do you want to say anything else about the song?
No.
Cattail Down. I jumped into the lyric right at the end of the song. You think you're you, but you don't. You ready? Can you repeat those words better than I can? You think you're you, but you don't know who you are. You're not you. You're everyone else.
Yeah.
I love the sentiment there. I think what I pulled from it was kind of we're all kind of lost, but we can all be found in some sort of manner without that necessarily being a religious word, because sometimes found can kind of work its way into religiosity, you know.
So is the question? So what's?
Do we struggle with who we are? Maybe is it just what I said a little bit ago? One day it feels like I'm not connecting with anything, whether it's even between you and I, and the next day we are, and we're in essence searching for ourselves almost all the time. And if heaven resides within you, or is that the word that your mom used?
She said sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
Yeah.
If a sanctuary resides within you, and if you can connect with that, then you start maybe coming to a more of a realization of who you are or who you can be.
Well, that line at the end there always strikes me as literally true, or like to be taken literally. You know, it's a very straightforward line. There's no symbolism, or there's no metaphor there, or simile, or you don't need to read between the lines there.
Right.
But take it at face value. That's how it strikes me.
So using the G word, but you use it a lot in Timothy Hay with "What a Beautiful God."
No, I don't use it so much as I'm quoting someone. You know, we found a better mom we call God. That's just a word we use for this other.
I see, in quotes. Okay.
For this other parent that we found. We had physical parents, like a mom and a dad, who had sex and then made our bodies.
Yeah.
But then we start to realize, well, they're going to die, or they have died already. So now what? So here, we found someone, another place to run and hide when we're in trouble, rather than our physical parents. So we call it, in the story we call that God, but it's just a word again. But here and then she says this: "What a beautiful God there must be."
I gotcha. Yep.
So it's not me singing that exactly, but even it's a little funny that she's saying that, because it's like,
right, right.
Well, I'll leave.
Right.
It
I'm with you. Do you take time to pray and meditate, or is it your quietness and you just listen?
Well, I was raised to believe that that I don't know how to pray, that I can't pray, but I was taught only God can pray. So yeah, you kind of make room for that. You just make yourself available for that to happen. That's the teaching of my, my little childhood. But
and it still resonates.
Yeah,
through whatever you've learned between now and then.
Yeah, it's huge relief, because when you go and you try to do your prayers, and you're in deep down, you're like, what is this? I don't believe this, or something right here. I need to pray to what? You just have no concept of even what it means. So you can at least acknowledge, I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about you. I don't even have faith in you. I can't pray, but whoever can, please come. You please come, and you do what you need to do, whatever it is. You fall into it, let it occur. You don't do anything really. You stop doing, and then I don't know.
So, do you find strength being around other people?
No.
So, a fellowship, a brotherhood sort of thing isn't isn't helping you. It doesn't bring you to a place of what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, you must have a word. You got a thesaurus on you, don't you?
It's cool. It's really cool. You know, it's cool to hang out with people. But then you reach a limit where you're like, this isn't so cool anymore. And so you start to look around and say, there's something missing here. There's something wrong here. And I'm completely still alone, even though his body's all around me. So you start to say, well, really, I only have one friend. Really, but so you stop seeing people. You don't believe so much in people. You just say there's something better going on than people hanging out. And the way you look at everything starts to change. So whether you're alone, physically you're alone, or there's other bodies around you, you're always alone. In a way, or you could be alone with bodies all around you, or you're sitting by yourself in a room and you've got a big crowd, of all these voices in you and competing. Like you said, sometimes you think this, sometimes that. So you start to realize you're never alone, even when you're by yourself, and you're never with anyone, even when you're surrounded by people. And it's just not, what it really seems like. But I don't need to go on like this. Maybe I should answer your questions a little more straightforward. Well, I like being around people. It's cool.
Well, I think there's a loneliness thing going on out there, and I almost don't know what I mean by it right now. After you answer the question kind of that way, but maybe this is what I'm thinking. I think there's a lot more sadness out there, and I blame it on people being not around others. And it's because, like, I see my brother spends a lot of time alone, and he just seems sad. Now, that's because he's spending a lot of time watching TV or playing games or watching movies or stuff, and so I gave, well, geez, come on, be around us. Come on up with my family, and let's go have dinner together, and let's, just like you guys had lunch together today. There's something that helps move your spirit, if not awaken your spirit at time with others around you, I think sometimes, but yeah, maybe it's a sadness thing that I'm really asking, Because do you think you spend more time alone now than you did? Did you go to, say, a public school or?
Yeah.
So you had to be around. You had to be in a classroom with 20-some kids. You had to have lockers and, like, schools do, right?
Yeah.
Had to be around people, in essence.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'll ask you this question. Here's my question. Is there more sadness out there, or is there more loneliness out there? And do you have a sense of either?
I don't know. What's out there? But, you see both, or you feel both. You just look inside. What's this all about, Why this loneliness? Why this sadness? But you at least just stop worrying about it, It's one thing to feel that. Then it's another thing to get sad about being sad, and then that's just a downward spiral. So at least you can catch it and say, well, maybe you're a valuable experience. Maybe you're a part of the learning that needs to occur here. So I'm not going to worry about you, sadness. I'm going to be thankful for you. I'm going to say, wow, look at that. Sadness, that's really interesting. What's the nature of that? What's the cause of that? What is it pointing toward? Oh wow, loneliness. What's that all about? What's the value of this? Just like if you cut your finger and it hurts, it's like, oh wow, that teaches me not to, like, touch the sharp side of the knife,
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's a good thing that it hurts, because you don't, you shouldn't be splitting open your skin like that, So when you have this loneliness, rather than thinking, oh, I wish it would just go away, you can say, wow, what's this teaching me?
Yeah.
And what's the way to truly, embrace this and be thankful for it and learn from it and move forward, rather than getting worried, whether it's your own sadness or your brother's sadness or his loneliness, Just say, well, we're all,
Because in a way I'm taking it on, right, from what we talked about earlier. I want to fix his sadness.
Yeah, but, you might be, you think you're taking it on, that you want to lighten his load, but you might just be adding a burden to him, because then you have this, you're going to put a pressure on him. Oh, you should come out with us, and he's going to feel like he's disappointing you, and he's going to feel like you're you want him to do something he doesn't want to do. And so if you can be content with him as he is and completely accept where his life is at, and then when you talk to him, you don't want him to do anything different. You can just listen to him, and just hear him out where he's at. Maybe that's all he wants is to be. I don't know your brother.
I know, but I hear you. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Because I'm projecting onto him how I would feel if I were in the same situation, right?
Could be.
I'm pretty sure. Hey, what does it say on your wrist?
This says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit," and this says, "For theirs is the kingdom of heaven."
How long have you had those on your wrists?
About 8 or 9 years.
And are those words powerful to you?
No.
Were you just a different person then?
Well, they point to something powerful, you know, or they're like an echo of something powerful. But the words themselves, they can be quoted up and down, they can be photocopied, they can be printed in books and distributed and torn in half and burned, and just them being words doesn't have any, or the sounds, they don't have any power, It's just a quote you can use and treat for any reason. You can use it for, it can be spoken in truth or it can be spoken in arrogance, and those are powerful. The reality of truth is powerful, and arrogance has a certain power, but the words themselves are just, they're just sounds, they're just shapes,
But when they are spoken in truth, are they meant to be comforting?
They had the effect on me. They meant something a lot different when I got them. It meant something a whole lot different. But you let go of what you understand, and then maybe there's a new something. Like, oh, that same set of shapes or sounds has opened up a whole new room in my heart.
Right.
What this actually points toward, or where this is coming from, and it's way better.
So does truth or the understanding of what it is reside in our hearts, and that's where we evaluate, if you will, that it is truth, that there's something that happens in that sanctuary that might be near or at least in the heart?
Again, I might be sort of unqualified. Like imagine someone came to you and asked you questions about advanced calculus or something. I'm assuming you're not a professional mathematician.
No, not yet.
So if they're asking you questions about like super advanced theoretical mathematics,
right,
you just sort of say, "Yikes!"
Yeah, right.
This fellow must have the wrong impression about who I am. Somewhere in my past, I must have falsely written a credential that said I had a doctorate in math,
right,
in calculus, but actually I don't. So I'm sorry that I put that on my resume because I was confused when I put that. So I actually don't know the answer to that.
Right.
And you're asking a whole lot of advanced mathematic questions, and I'm still trying to BS answers for you, so I don't disappoint you. But
thank you.
I'd be so much more peaceful if I could honestly say to everything you're asking, "Please forgive me, Frank. I have no idea. Would you like a glass of water?"
Maybe I can just edit that in front of every...
Yes, please.
Will I do that for you?
Please.
Well, the reason I asked it is because just before that you said something about, what's in my heart and that kind of a thing. And the heart is used as a metaphor for whether it's love or feelings reside. And so that's why I kind of went to that heart place.
Yeah.
And because when you say it, I think, well, must be you have come to some sort of understanding that when something resonates, I call it my heart. And that's why I asked it rather than put you in that advanced or the advanced calculus question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I in essence, we don't know, but if that's the words we use to describe it, then that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the time.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I'm serious. This was special to me this time. This drive down here, because I never know who I'm going to meet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to meet a guy who wants to be a rock star or a guy who wants to be at peace. I think you're closer to the second guy.
Well, who knows?
Unless we're just using this interview and you're going to shut off the microphone and go, "Come on over, everybody, I'm signing autographs."
Well, it's a mixed bag, We see all of it. side, you know, and you say, oh yeah, he's in there and he's in there too.
Yeah.
You know, and we're all of it, but what's the right direction to be moving in?
Yeah.
Who do we trust, and where does this desire lead? You know, you could ask others maybe. You know, where did that lead you when you did that? Or keep our eyes open, and see where our desires end up leading us, and then adjust accordingly. Or if we're so stubborn that we're going to keep persisting with our old desires, we're just going to have to beat our heads against the wall until we realize, okay, this was a dead-end road.
Because you all in the band might not have the same desires for whatever, you might not. But do you have a sense of responsibility because you've made a commitment to other people that are close enough to you that while it may not be exactly what you want to do right now, but there is a commitment and a responsibility that you feel just because you made it 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 8 years ago, or whatever the time is. Is there that for you a little bit?
No.
Okay. Thanks for the time.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
it.